I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Happy Sunday, all of you Days of Our Lives fans. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days, where we give you a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's Emmy Award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I am joined by some of our gaggle of gals. We have our very own lumberjack Matt.
Lumberjack. I'm not a lumberjack today.
Well,
I don't know what I am today.
It's still plain to you, a construction worker.
Construction. Okay, I'll take it.
So apparently Michael Mattis is going for the rendition of
I'm
the
Bob
Village
the Builder.
People by himself. Are you gonna
A
come
one-man Village People?
Yeah. Are you gonna come in as a cop next week?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if I have that costume in my closet. It's a deep closet, y'all.
Oh.
Oh.
And who's this?
Oh, Michael Mattis. Hi.
And of course we have
Hey everyone, Chelsea Overocker.
with no wave.
Chelsea Overocker.
And our very own Tammy Govea is off traveling to her next gig. She is booked up. She is blessed. She is going off to do some hosting things. So we wish her well and safe travels. Mm-hmm. And she wishes she could be here because we have Brook Kelly in the house coming in later. He ain't here yet, but he's coming in later. So make sure you guys stick around. If you're watching live, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you like us and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram and _Dishin Days on Twitter. And if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts or other podcast platforms, make sure you like us, subscribe, and also rate us, and also comment. There's a lot of stuff you got to do if you listened. But
we got to work, you got to work too.
Exactly.
You know?
So, and we appreciate your work.
Someone in the chat room said we need to earn the like, by the way, because we were like, oh, make sure to like. And they're like, the show hasn't even started yet. You got to earn it.
I feel like for the past 5 years, we have earned
I'm like, what?
A like. Unless they're new. Maybe they're new.
It was Hunk Body.
Oh, Hunk Body. You are.
No, not Hunk Body. Sexy Body.
Aaron Hard Body?
Hard Body, yeah.
Hard Body. You always in there, Hard Body. Give us that like.
You know he's giving us the like. It's fine. It's fine.
And if you are a lover of all soap operas, make sure you check out the other recap shows that we have here at AfterBuzz TV. We have Restless Rap for Young and the Restless and GH Report for General Hospital. And next week is going to get bold and the beautiful with James Lott Jr. and Tammy Govea. So make sure you tune into that next week. All right. What did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
It was a great week.
It was
great week. Very entertaining.
It was really good. I thought it was another week of a lot of stuff. Like all of a sudden, it's been this slow climb, and then it was just like, pew! Here's all the stuff that you've been wanting to know.
Great week. And all I have to say is Deidre Hall had a busy week between two story plots going on.
Yeah, she was busy.
She was on every day.
Yeah.
She's Deidre Hall.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't she be?
Give her a break.
I'm sure she'll take the work. All right, well, let's break it all down. It's now time to start
Dishin Days.
Ta-da.
Yay!
Woo-hoo!
Set it and forget it. All right, so let's kick things off with Ben.
I think this was the most anticipated story of the week.
Yes.
Just given like the Twitter feedback and everything, people were very excited to see this.
Yes, this is the Ben, Ciara, Evan Christian Maddox, Rafe, Will, Sonny storyline. So the big thing this week was the execution of Ben, which I felt like they were trying to get rid of him quick.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And the warden wasn't having any of it. Like, he was like, this
Orders
execution
from the
is...
mayor.
Yeah.
Or the DA or whoever.
The governor.
Governor.
This execution is scheduled, and we are proceeding like planned. Do the first shot. Now, first of all, I will say this. I don't feel like I would want to be explained to how I'm about.
You just want to, just do it.
Because what's the point? Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
I was gonna die. Like, the last thing I want.
Is it a legal thing? Do they have to?
Maybe formalities.
But maybe you think it should be.
But what are they gonna do? Like, come back and go, well, you didn't tell me that part.
That's a little
I
too
object.
late.
Yeah.
I know, I wouldn't want to hear it. I'm just like, get it done. Even when I go to the doctor, it's not the same thing. But when they explain, okay, we're going to put the needle in now, I'm like, just
do it.
Okay, no, see, in that context, I like it. I want to know, like,
step by step
when it's going to happen.
I don't.
I can tell you what I don't like anymore is the fact that they don't give out Capri Sun and cookies after you get your shot. Like, I don't know when that stopped happening, but
Really?
whatever.
My doctor does it.
Well, now you go to your doctor.
I still get lollipops.
I'm going to the wrong people apparently. but I for 2 seconds I felt kind of bad that no one was there.
That was going to be my comment. It was Marlena and Will. Now, granted, Ciara was off trying to save his life and being a boss bitch, and we appreciate that. So she was trying to save him. And I was trying to think, okay, who else would be there? I was trying to think of who else would be appropriate to, like, it would, like, to see it happen. The only other person I could think of, and this wouldn't be to support Ben, it would be to make sure he would be Eve. Because regardless of what he did or didn't do to Jordan, he did kill Paige.
Yeah.
And Eve always still kind of harbored, understandably so, like a resentment for that. So I would think she would be an appropriate person to be there.
Yeah.
But as far as support, like Clyde, but they weren't going to let him out.
Right.
But yeah, like who else would have been an appropriate person to be there?
It did seem very. I can't remember when it was Sammy's execution. She had a lot of people there.
And the same with John Black. Like they had like 10 people at least.
Yeah.
Were they just extras? Some of them were extras in
Ooh,
the
No,
that's too far back to think.
I know. Yeah.
Because on Sammy's, Lucas ran in. I think Kate was there.
Kate ran in with Lucas.
Okay, ran in with Lucas. Marlena was there.
John, maybe?
Maybe Roman.
Eric.
Roman,
probably.
I wonder if I can find a picture.
Who else was on the show? Was Nicole there? Well, no, Nicole was married to Lucas at the time, I think.
Yeah. Sammy, Days of Our Lives.
Sammy's execution. That was a big storyline.
Yeah, that was huge because she was accused of killing Franco.
Props to Kate for taking care of that.
It doesn't, like, I see Lucas, Marlena.
Oh, you know who else was there? Sean, the grandpa and the grandma. Caroline and Sean.
Oh, were they?
Because I remember seeing Sean go after Lucas when Lucas came in. So the grandparents.
There were a bunch of there was looks like the warden, the doctor, 2 police officers. This is just a quick thing, and then Marlena looks like she's what Lucas runs in. But like, who's that behind? I think that's Marlena, or is that Nicole?
Maybe.
I don't know. If anyone knows, let us know. We don't want to spend too much time on that. But the execution reminded us of this whole thing with Sammy because the same thing happened with Sammy. You know, Lucas rushing in, she almost died, and everything like that, and it was literally like a race against the clock. What I couldn't figure out was once Ciara and Rafe figured it out, why didn't Rafe call someone and say, "Hey, I think we have probable cause in the death of Jordan Ridgway"? Because I feel like that would have helped, along with Marlena calling aid to call the governor and all this.
Well, so it went down where they found out about the name change and whatever. Rafe went to confront him, and I think maybe him needing to go confront Evan Christian and protect David. Maybe that kind of took over and he didn't think about it.
I think it was all about baby David at that point, and he's like, I gotta find Evan Christian. So
I love that we call him Evan Christian.
Evan Christian.
So with Ben, totally on the back burner.
But he can't be on the back burner. The dude's about to die.
But it's his baby. He thinks of David as his son, and when he figured out that Evan maybe not be Evan, I think his father instincts or parenting instincts went into overdrive. But it was Ciara who tried to get a hold of the warden, and and they were just like,
Ciara
"Girl, bye."
on the phone.
Yeah, and she was ranting and raving about, and they were like, "Girl, bye." And
pretty much.
Yeah.
And then she took matters in. Well,
The sequence of events.
Yes. So Will was at
the jail with Marlena.
Yes. Ciara came to the jail.
Right, and then
to talk to the warden.
Right, and
about the new evidence.
Exactly, and while that was going on,
meanwhile,
Sonny and Evan were having their
at the Kiriakis mansion, Sonny and
Evan took out his gun.
Yes, because he was needing help to get money to get out of town.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, still at the Kiriakis mansion. No, meanwhile, back at the jail, Ciara says the name of the guy, to which Will says, "Did you say Evan?" Whatever, however you pronounce his last name.
Frears.
I keep wanting to say Fears, but there's an R in there. And then he puts two and two together and says, "Oh, he was just with Sonny." They then to the Kiriakis mansion. So then Evan Christian then confesses everything, and
does he confess? I was trying. I didn't have time to go back and watch it, but I was trying to remember. At what point he first says he killed Jordan? Was it at the house or was it at when Ciara was holding the gun?
At the house.
It was at the house.
Yeah.
Yes.
He confessed to killing Jordan.
Because he confessed that he's David's father.
Right.
And then, yes, because then once he confessed, Ciara was basically like, all right, we're going to the jail. And then people were like, well, who's going to drive you? And Ciara was like, he is.
I was like, why do you want him to drive?
Yeah. But before that, a little before that, there was a tussle of the gun, which, days, y'all, come on. I'm tired of people wrestling for guns.
I said that the same thing because later in the week, there was another one, and I was like, if that gun goes off.
Yeah. But luckily, this one went off, but it just went in the wall. Thank you for explaining that.
Luckily, it didn't hit Eddie and Maggie's figurines,
as
Will
hilarious.
pointed out.
Yeah.
I love that part.
I was like,
just got up. He's like, oh, thank God.
I was like, that's not. There's a time and a place for comic relief. I don't think that was it. But
right.
My opinion, anyway.
But then Ciara jets off, takes him to the jail. He confesses, and then it's like, stop. But then, like, he's already slightly been going through the execution and having flashbacks. I love the flashbacks of their love together.
Yes.
It was super cute. And I like how they stylized it so that we knew that he wasn't in his mind, but he was in his mind. It wasn't in reality.
Right.
But then I was a little confused because I was like, okay, the second administration of the drug was only supposed to paralyze him.
Right.
And then the third was the one that stops his heart. And I didn't think they got to the third.
I didn't think so either. I thought they only got to the first
second.
two.
Yeah. But then what happened to Ben? Him dead for like 2 seconds. Yeah. And then they had like an EpiPen I don't know if it's called an EpiPen, but
it's not. It's an adrenaline shot.
Sure.
Marlena explained it.
She did.
It's adrenaline.
But in my mind, I was like EpiPen, and then like shot to his heart, and you're too late. But he woke up.
So
that was a lot that happened.
It was a lot that happened.
Yeah.
I was watching the first 3 episodes of this week with a friend of mine after we had been drinking and watching Lifetime. So we were, we were finding humor in it. The part where the doctor like just rips his shirt up, we were like, oh. And then the sound effects when he stabbed it. And my friend was like, okay, so wait, this dude was just remembering the first time he and Ciara had sex. He probably, maybe he wasn't because he paralyzed, had.
Oh.
And it was just like we were talking about that, and then that noise.
Wait, can that happen? He's paralyzed, though.
We don't know.
How would he know?
Would it happen and he just didn't feel it?
Maybe, because he paralyzed.
But it was just that in the context of the doctor just like, and then that golden chiseled chest. We were just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then
they
I couldn't help but laugh. It like took me out of what was going on.
They know what they're doing.
But Ciara Brady, she needs to become a cop.
Oh yeah.
My
well,
gosh.
we always keep saying that she has the police instincts of her dad and her mom.
Yeah.
So when she takes matters into her own hands and she's like, she's looking back, like she's not fearful because even when she was at the Kiriakis mansion, she was literally looking at Evan like, you're not about to do nothing except get in this car and go save my boo. And that's all we gonna say about that. So
she acted more like the cop this week than Rafe did with that whole situation.
Yeah, but now I'm hoping that she doesn't get in trouble because I mean, she literally like manhandled him into the execution with the gun and was like, tell him what you did. And I was just like, this little teeny tiny girl is just like slanging Evan like everywhere.
I know. And then when the warden's like, we could shoot you, she's like, go ahead, shoot me, do it. She was not holding back.
She was not having it. There was one part, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there was something that was said about, I think when Ciara was there, someone said something about recording something. And Marlena went, it could go viral. And I was like, is that Hattie? Because that doesn't sound like something that Marlena would say.
No, I caught it too, and I was like, really? All right.
And then when she was in the corner, she kind of had the Hattie like eye, and there was a moment where I wanted to go, did Deidre Hall have a day where she was like, wait, who am I right now?
I know. She's like, oh shoot, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not Hattie.
I caught it when Ciara was entering with Evan Christian and had the gun, and then you just see Marlena up against the wall, and her eyes just went.
Yeah.
That was just.
That was that moment. That whole execution was a lot.
Emotional. Very emotional.
It really was.
Kudos to Robert and Victoria.
Yeah.
Because they were very good, especially Victoria. Victoria just did not skip a beat. She had to be exhausted.
Oh, yeah. Because she was crying.
And having to stay strong. And, ooh, man, you felt it.
I feel like that's a day where, like, you leave from work and, like, you go get a pizza and just, like, just turn off your phone and say, tomorrow, don't schedule me for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay. Like, I just need a day.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much, like, time you need to decompress from. And who knows how many, like, of all that she aired this week, how long it took to tape it. Like, it could have been all one day of just, like, boom, 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 boom. That's a lot.
I was actually very happy that we finally got some more oomph to the Evan character. Because for the most part, since he arrived on canvas, he's just been the mammy.
Yeah, the mammy. Yeah, and now we're getting a little more depth.
Yeah, but again, it happened so fast. Like all of a sudden, it was like, boom, that's not his real name. Boom, he's Christian Maddox. Boom, he's David's father. Boom, he killed George. Like all of a sudden, it was like everything that we were already kind of maybe speculating.
Yeah,
it was like, guess what? Here we go.
I'm glad they did the flashback when he confronted Jordan. But the only thing was, when Ben entered the cottage, the whole place was a disaster.
Yeah.
And during that flashback, you just see them knock over a lamp, and then he strangles her, and then she's on the ground. Like, it wasn't...
It could be assumed that he trashed the place afterwards to make it look like
it was
someone
like
broke in or robbery or... Okay, my question about that scene. First of all, I was just... I found it, like, very, like, you could feel, like... yourself getting strangled by watching that. He was really, and she was
yeah.
All of it, just it got to me a little bit. Yeah. But I thought she was strangled with a necktie.
No.
Was that not a thing? Okay.
It was her scarf.
It was her scarf.
It was her scarf. It was her scarf.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought
Are you talking about when we first saw that she was dead?
When we first found her, wasn't she? Isn't that why everyone assumed it was Ben?
Nope. The reason why they assumed it was Ben was because they caught Ben there. And so they automatically assumed, because there was no one else. And according to the DNA, they only found David, who obviously didn't kill his mom, and Ben's.
Got it. Okay.
So
I've been thinking this whole time it was a necktie.
No, because remember when they found her, we thought it was Ciara, because they were both wearing jean jackets and had cute nails.
Okay.
And then it wasn't until they did the time jump that we found out that it was Jordan and that he is being accused of killing Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And they only showed her cute nails in the jean jacket. Like, we didn't know how she actually died. She was just discovered. So, like, this is now when we see how it all transpired. Okay. But what's interesting, though, is that Evan was like, you know, he was, attracted to her and everything like that. And then he changed his name. And I wanted to go, y'all are kindred spirits because Tammy Sue did the same thing.
That's right.
She had multiple aliases. You got multiple aliases. Y'all could have been a thing if you really think about it. Mm-hmm. So the one thing, though, that I was just kind of like, Sonny, just listen. Every time he would say something, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? What? I don't understand. Yeah. And I was like, I'm sitting over here like, girl, I got the notes right here. He said that his name is not Evan. It's really Christian Maddox. He changed it. What else you want to know?
He just couldn't believe it. He couldn't wrap his mind around it. And then he always kept blaming himself, too.
Yeah. And he was really confused at first when he pulled out the gun. He was like, you doing this over a breakup? Like, I actually really liked you, but my husband didn't kill my mama. So, like, we good now. So, sorry.
Even Sonny knows he's not worth. Sonny doesn't think he's worth the gun. Okay.
Oh God.
It wasn't really addressed in a big way. Granted, there was other stuff going on. That this character is bisexual.
Yes, it was skated through.
It was kind of maybe it'll come up later because, like the point of that whole thing wasn't for Evan to reveal that he was bisexual. It was to get him to reveal the past with Jordan and to get the confession out of him.
Yes.
So I get that. So maybe that'll come up later, but. That was a little nugget of info that we're like, oh, yeah. I don't remember a character that went both ways before.
Yeah, well, we thought for 2 seconds that Paul was like that.
Oh, well, right, because
he
Teresa was
had a thing with
him.
Teresa, yeah, and then it turns out him gay, and then it was like we were like, okay,
gay.
What is Paul?
Gay. Not dead. Gay.
Not dead, but gay. But I find it. All of a sudden when he said that, I was like, ooh, there's so much stuff you could do with this now. Mm-hmm. Just think of the triangles and what could happen. And then it kind of it went back to, I thought about, hashtag missed opportunity, Xander and Leo. Mm-hmm. Like what could have happened if they had like joined forces and like had that thing. Okay.
Like if they did the sex too?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe some little... razzle dazzle.
Okay.
Little hide the cucumber.
Oh.
That's a thing, right?
Yeah. I was just expecting you to do a little more subtle of a entendre than hide the cucumber.
That's not subtle?
No.
Oh.
Okay. Oh. He's like, no.
My bad.
Anyway. I had a comment to make. Now I lost it, so we can move on.
That's it with that storyline, right?
I think so.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we can talk about it more.
I was just disappointed that we didn't get, like, some aftermath of...
too.
The last thing we saw with the execution was Ciara going in and them Ben waking up and them kind of reuniting. And I was expecting the next episode to be, like, maybe... If he's in the infirmary, maybe we see him in the infirmary and we get a little bit of the...
Yeah, maybe that's coming next week.
Yeah, but it should have been, like, more immediate. The next
agree.
episode, then it's done, Marlena's in the pub, Ben's in the infirmary, we don't see him. It's like, oh. There was no, satisfaction of what had happened, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because instead of Marlena explaining it to John and everyone at the pub, I would rather see a scene with it.
No.
But
I mean, we'll probably see it next week.
We had to move on.
Yeah, I guess.
Why? Because it brings us to our next storyline with Steveno, Kayla, Justin, John, Hattie, and Marlena, and Roman. First of all, let's address this. Go Hattie. When Hattie was like, when she got that second kiss, and then she basically was like, okay, Roman, so you said there was never a chance. Mm-hmm. Is there a chance? Because you've kissed me not once, but twice. I'm with Hattie. I'm like, let's just make this clear. Because you can't be coming up on these cheeks, like kissing me on my cheeks, and then saying that we ain't got no future together. If you change your mind, we can do it, baby boo.
Yeah. And Kate even picked up on it. Is like, you have a thing for her.
Yeah, she kept repeating it. Roman's like, that's not what I said. She's like, oh, you so like her.
Yeah, you don't need to say it.
He might be slowly turning around.
I'm for it.
I am too. But it's a little selfish of me because I'm like, he was already kind of with Marlena. So this is like Marlena part 2, but fun.
Mm-hmm. He's going to have a whole different ride with this one.
Oh, yep.
She said it.
Yep, she sure would, and subtle. But I like that she addressed that. But I also like that she was ready to go in as Marlena.
Yeah.
Because so they derived this because Steveno wants Marlena in exchange for Kayla. Justin and John. And Justin was in charge of bringing Marlena, and then John became a part of the plan. But, you know, they didn't want to put Marlena in danger. And so Hattie was like, they came to Hattie with it. And she's like, okay, I'll do it, you know. But Roman Brady was like, nope, you're not putting yourself in danger. And I'm like, okay, Roman. All right. You say you don't like her, but I don't
want her to be in danger, yeah.
No.
I don't know. But then I got frustrated. Because I'm like, you guys have even and then Marlena came back after the whole execution. She's like, she'll do it.
Yeah.
Because she supports their plan of like, this is gonna be a couple of seconds. We're gonna go in, we're gonna do the exchange, ping pong poom, we out.
Yeah.
I can be at home in my negligee with some strawberries in like a couple of hours. Yep. But one of the things I got frustrated about was as soon as we saw John laying on the floor, I was like...
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, y'all have been dealing with Stefano for decades.
Literally decades.
Like,
and you're not thinking of this stuff.
At what point do you, like, go to your secret drawer and pull out your handbook of how to handle Stefano Demera? And, like, you just read up on some things and be like, okay, and derive a better plan so that way your plan goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised that Roman wasn't there to at least try to back John up.
Right, have some backup for the back because John was kind of the backup for Marlena.
Yes.
And Justin and Marlena. So John was there should have been backup for backup. Maybe Stefano's people, or I think it was Rolf probably wouldn't have been ready for the backup.
Yeah. Well, the backup is at home because Roman had to deal with Kate. So there was that. But you know, now the plan has gone awry. Steveno has Marlena. Marlena don't know where they're off to. But now John, Kayla, and Justin are trapped in that room with gas coming through. And
I was like, this is like Secret Room circa 1997 when Marlena and Kristen were in it.
I literally, when the scene ended, when John was like, he's trying to kill us, I was like, welcome to Days of Our Lives circa 1990. Liz, I'm here for it, but it's just kind of like, y'all ain't know this already? Y'all ain't know this was going to be an option? We still using gas to kill people in 2020?
Odorless, what did you say? Odorless?
Tasteless?
Odorless, tasteless gas, yeah. So Kayla once again tried to get through because she believes that like Steve is in there, that microchip can't take over. So she was trying to appeal to him.
If these people don't stop talking to them, they're not them. Like Steveno is Stefano. You can't be like, Steve, if you hear me, come through. I know you're fighting to get out. No, that don't work. But yet they still keep yelling at them. I'm like Steveno. I'm like.
So where does Steveno take Marlena?
Oh, to the cottage.
To the not the boathouse, not the outhouse, what do they call it? Where Ben and Ciara were living.
I always call it the cottage.
The cottage. Okay, we'll call it the cottage. The Demera, the back house.
The gardener quarters.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Where the walker and all that shiz was.
That's the set that's up.
I know. So
they ain't got no time to rearrange something.
He was like, we need a place to lay low for a while. So that's where that set was up. So that's where they.
It's like that's where we going, y'all. This set's already up. Just take it there.
Yep.
It'll be fine. I'm wondering how, but it's also that thing of like you kind of look at Stefano now and go, you is sad. Like she ain't liked you for the past 50 years.
Well, yeah, and that whole discussion about like doing something to Marlena to make her submit, I'm like, that's creepy. That's like like Me Too violation.
But I do like that he was like, I want her at her own volition. But I'm also
the
like,
gatehouse. That's it.
I'm like, but girl, like she ain't wanted you this whole time.
She just ain't into you.
New body or old body. Like, she don't like you. She don't like you. Like, no is no.
Yeah.
No mean no.
No means no, exactly. Precisely. So that's that.
Yeah, that was that on that.
And it's called The Gatehouse.
The Gatehouse.
The
That's what it is. All right, so Xander, Sarah, Eric, Nicole, Brady, Kristen, Dr. Rayner, who has reappeared, Gabby finally making it through traffic, Victor, and Maggie. I like that they brought Dr. Rayner back to just kind of add more stress to the situation. She has so much guilt about what she did. But I'm also like, girl, I don't know how many zeros were in the first or second check, but like, go lay low. Because like, if you live in Salem, you have heard of 3 names: Demera, Kyriakis, Horton, and Brady. And you all know what they are capable of. Yeah. And if I met someone and they were like, I'd be like, oh, hey, what's your name? Kyriakis. Like, bye. Like, oh, hey, what's your name? Demera.
Well.
You know, like, nice, great to know you.
Right.
So, but, you know, kudos to her. But there, when she first met up with, ran into Kristen and Brady in the Horton Town Square, the way she interacted with them, Kristen picked up more so on the fact that there's something not...
She seemed on edge.
Yes. And then she thought maybe it was just seeing them that just kind of triggered that night when the baby died and everything like that. But insert investigative reporter Nicole.
Nicole is on
she's walking...
She didn't say... What did she say? Oh, but he didn't say... He said secret.
He said secret. I'm like, bitch, you got some supersonic ears, because I don't even know what he said.
Right.
Yeah, she was questioning everything.
On
the secret you're talking about.
And as soon as the doctor walks away, she's like, yeah, no, not
like,
buying
I don't buy it.
Yeah.
She's still investigating it.
Yep.
She ain't buying nothing.
So there was talk that, because, you know, when Kristen and Sarah were both in labor, I think the doctor mentioned it, that there was a third baby. There was a mention of a third baby, that there were 3 babies being born. So then there was a theory that, like, Sarah's baby actually died, and it was switched with one of the 2 babies, and it may not have actually been Kristen and Brady's baby. Kristen and Brady's baby may be off with these unknown people, and this baby that Sarah and Eric have right now is unrelated to, like, they basically switched twice or something like that. But Dr. Raymer, who knows about the switch, made a comment to someone about them having Kristen and Brady's baby. So I think we can take that third baby off the table now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simplify it.
Yeah. Because
I'm like, that's too much.
Because already I was like,
huh?
Yeah. Yeah. What had happened? So the bone marrow transplant happened, although somebody was 20 minutes late because of University
Avenue.
Well, and apparently Dr. Rayner was late too, and Gabby laying in the bed was like, University Avenue traffic. See?
I loved, and of course, you know, Lindsay Godfrey always brings it when Sarah has to come out.
Oh.
And she kept having to go, we really appreciate your help. And then Gabby would say something, he's like, yo, wow, bitch.
No, the shade fest that they had right before the surgery, it was like, because Gabby was like, you can't even trust this hospital. Baby switches, da-da-da. And then Sarah clapped back, putting...
app controllers and pacemakers.
I was like, ooh. Well. I was like, y'all are going tit for tat. But I also, again, it's one of those things where it's like, Gabby can't win for losing. Like, they can't stand her, but she has the ability to save little baby Mickey. Then... it's like she can't get rest because then here comes Julie. Yes. And it's like, you got off, but now you got to deal with me. I'm like, it's like, where's the peace and harmony?
Well, and she even, like, at one point, Gabby even went through, like, there was, like, you know, Julie and Gabby are always going to have that contention between them, but they do kind of understand each other. Yeah. And the way they did have Gabby go through, it's like, I had a family, and then Ariana died, Mommy went back to Mexico, Puppy's in jail, and all she has is Rafe. All she has is Rafe. And like she mentioned, like, oh, I'm always disappointing him. And so, like, there is, like, you at that point, I was like, oh, Gabby.
You kind
of feel for her. Like,
do. Because everything, like, you know, she had Stefan, and then that's gone. And then she went to jail when she didn't do anything. Right. And then she lost her connection with Ari. So there's yes, she's done bad, but you know what? It's okay for her to think selfishly, to be like, I want to get myself out of jail.
Well, and she made a point. She's like, everyone else in this town does it.
Right.
Everyone else in this town bargains their way out of prison.
Exactly.
And she made the comment to Kristen because Kristen confronted her. Yeah. And she's like, didn't you do the same thing like a couple months ago? Yeah. Use something to leverage yourself out? And
but
it's like,
somehow, because she's doing it, it's so bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. It's like she has had the short end of the stick since killing Nick. And that was in self-defense.
Right.
Because he was trying to rape her.
I wanted to tweet out a clip of the moment where Nick attacked her and she knocked him over the head, just to remind people that, like, yes, she did kill Nick, but it was in self-defense. He was crazy attacking her and trying to... It was when he was trying to get her to go to New York. He created this job for her. And, yeah, so that was... calm down. What's going on? I haven't been paying attention. Tony just told the chat room to calm down.
Well, because
there was something going on.
Oh, was there something going on?
Well, like, there was like a lot. I looked over, there was a lot of back and forth, and I'm like, y'all calm down. Let's talk about the show. Let's be happy. Respect each other in the chat room. Don't attack anyone. So are we missing anything with that story?
No, but I wanted to, is that how quickly bone marrow transplants can happen? Like,
never done it.
I know.
Apparently,
my friend Gabby, who I was watching it with, says when they do bone marrow, they have to go down. Her dad had it done for something, and they have to, like, go down into the bone. It is not a pleasant procedure.
Yeah.
But I was just, it just
That's
seemed
why she
really
was trying
quick.
to get her rest.
Yeah, exactly.
But she can't rest because everybody keep coming in. Talk about how bad she is.
Wake up!
If I was Gabby, you know what I would have done? I would have put a guard out and said, don't let nobody come in here.
Like, Demira money. She has Demira money. She can do that, right?
She still does for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we move on to some tidbits, we have a little bit of business to take care of. As always, we always want to thank you guys so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. But for us to continue to grow, we need your help. And like we always say every week, make sure you're on YouTube right now. It's very simple. Just hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars and make a comment. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV means so much to us, but with your help, we can continue making this little show that could almost switch a baby test happen forever. So thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for supporting what we love to do. And don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows. This announcement brought to you by the kind folks here at AfterBuzz TV.
Boom.
All right, tidbits. Hope, Gina, Sean, Jennifer, Kate, Roman. I don't like that everyone's getting on Kate because Kate didn't know that Gina pushed.
Right. That's the part of it that she did not know.
She didn't know that. Like, she was brought on months later, and I could see why she didn't want to reveal anything. Again, it's like why Lonnie didn't reveal what Gabby was doing. Right. It's kind of like, you don't know what these people are about to do, you know what I mean, or what they have in plan. Yeah. But it's kind of like, let me insert myself so that I can figure it out. So, and when she had to, like, pull the plug on stuff, she did. And she's like, are you forgetting that I saved Marlena? I was like, I ain't forgot, Kate.
Nope.
I also haven't forgot that you have recovered from your raspy voice.
Oh. That's right. I forgot.
I was like, they put her in jail for 3 days. They said, girl, go home, get
her some
better.
Antibiotics.
Yeah, and then she came back. Hello, it's me, Kate.
She's back to regular, same old Kate. Yeah.
Yeah. But now Sean informed Gina, who wants to be referred to as Princess Gina von Omborg.
You will not speak to me unless spoken to.
Yes. That she's basically having to go get this MRI done so that they can maybe figure it out and start the process of switching her back.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that Jennifer.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. But you could tell in Jennifer, like, she's back from Africa. Rest in peace, Bill Horton. That was a very tender moment between Jennifer and Kate. And her having to tell Kate that Bill had died and that the funeral already happened. And Kate got so very emotional about it. She was just like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
That was a very good moment. But then when Sean came and was like, Gina is in there, you could tell she was like, oh, can I go in there?
I know.
And then
you knew it was like, oh.
And then you saw her just kind of, it's like that walk into a run where you kind of go, okay, thanks.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And then she goes in and then like, you know, confronts Princess Gina. But the second that she said that she was possibly going to kill Abigail.
Fly across the table.
Jennifer Horton turned into a New Jersey housewife and like flew over.
I love it when they give Jennifer those scenes because she takes them and runs with them, and it's so great. And she just puts all of her energy into it. And yeah, she did the same thing with Eve when she found her with JJ. Yeah, that is one of the best scenes in like the last 10 years. Was her confronting JJ and Eve and just like jumping on the bed and like putting a pillow.
Oh yes. Actually, the next one that tops that is when Paige found out.
Ooh yeah.
I because I was going through my Instagram, I did a video of it. And it was like Paige had walked away, and then she came back and was like whoosh, across JJ, and I was like, and it was Kayla and JJ's friend Rory, and they were sitting there like best scene. Anywho's it. So yeah, so that was I'm glad that Jennifer had a chance to confront Princess Gina von Unberg.
Finally, she gets her frustration out.
Exactly.
Hope Gina's got to be pretty rank by now.
Oh yes, I mean, because from Prague.
I just love how Kate looks completely like Kate. That's Kate after 3 nights in jail.
Because you know Kate, when she lays down, she fluffs her hair out. She's like this, and then it's just she wakes up, she's splash, and then she's just Kate. Yeah. So there's that. On that. Is that it?
No, Sean dragged her to the hospital to get the MRI and kicking and screaming.
Of course. Well, she doesn't want the MRI done because I think she's having to realize that she is not Gina. Gina is dead. She is in the body of Hope. Mm-hmm. And I think that there was a moment where she was kind of told that by Sean.
You're going to be in a bucket in the floor.
Operating floor.
Yeah. And she's like, but I'm Princess Gina von Unberg.
People, okay, sidebar. People in the chat room some people don't understand the Kate Jennifer connection. Kate long ago had an affair with Bill Horton, Jennifer's dad, and had Lucas. So Lucas and Jennifer are half siblings.
Yes.
And that's the connection that Kate has to Bill Horton.
Well, remember, I put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chat room seems still confused.
Well,
so I'm just clearing stuff up.
Thank you for clearing it up.
Yep.
All right, let's breeze through this so that we can get through our segments, and then our special guest of the afternoon, Mr. Brook Kelly. He's here outside the studio, and then we're gonna bring him in while we're doing the segments. So it's a little magic trick that we do here. Dun dun! All right, so quickly, Eli, Lonnie, Julie, and Gabby. We already kind of talked about Julie and Gabby. Mm-hmm. Eli and Lonnie are connecting with each other.
Yeah. That pillow fight looks so much fun.
She'd be like, hit me.
I just had to take a moment for the pillow fight because that was beautiful.
Lamone in his underwear?
Mm-hmm. But then I was also like, because at first, like, I was watching and I was like, oh, that looks real good. And I was like, ooh, Lamone looked real good. And then I was like, well, go ahead, Sal. Look at you.
She looked cute too.
Yeah. Good as well.
Yeah. But I was like, this is... It suddenly made me want to go find somebody to get in a pillow fight with. And hopefully, let me tell you something, I ain't going to look like that, though. I'm going to look like that. Not at all. But I'm glad that, like, they're reconnecting and getting over this past year of stuff. But she got the call from JJ that, he's obviously not...
Staying in Africa.
Yeah. So, because she thought she was going to have to hurry up and shower and,
Get out.
But nope. It's yours. For now. And then lastly, Kate, Chad, and Gabby.
Oh, that's weird with Chad.
Well, now we know. Now we know what the little serum was. Mm-hmm. Was that now it's like Stefano is in his head and kind of taking control of him and commanding him to do stuff, and he's just kind of obeying. But I'm glad that he and Kate had that conversation, and Kate realized that there's something going on.
Yeah.
And she was like, wow, you sound just like your father.
Well, and the fact that he was so forgiving for what she did. Like he wasn't bothered by it.
Yeah,
she was just like, wow. Do you think, so we know that there was something dropped in his drink. Do we think the ring is tainted with anything?
No.
Do we think the ring, like him putting the ring on, like something in the ring that's seeping into his blood or something? No. I don't know. Because he put the ring on, and then I feel like once he put the ring on, it even went like full speed ahead with him and kind of acting Stefano-ish.
I think the ring is just like an heir to the throne kind of a thing.
You don't think it's altering his mind in any way?
I think the drugs are.
Well, the drugs are, but do you think I don't know. I thought maybe
it could be a possibility, but
no.
Okay.
It's just who's in control? The person with the ring. Whoever has the Phoenix ring is the person. So.
Oh, and then there was the fact that he wholeheartedly believes that Steve is Stefano. And she was like, really?
Yeah.
And he got offended that, he is my father. So
I'm like, oh.
I'm curious to see where this is going. I like that.
I'm like, what's the end game?
And Billy's, the difference in his the way he's acting right now is subtle but noticeable. He's not going as far as Stephen Nichols, where, Stephen Nichols is Stefano, so he has to, like, put on the Joe Mescolo kind of persona. But I liked it. And then he, when he walked into Gabby's room, I was like, oh, grab a pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Kate's onto it because even she looked at Stefano's portrait and just said, what are you doing with Chad?
After she told Harold not to scratch her bag.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
that bag is more expensive than what you will ever earn here.
I told you were cheap with the help.
and then she also admitted that she's talked to the portrait too, because she caught Chad doing it too. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting storyline, and good thing that when Jack came back and and told Chad that Abigail, of course, at the last minute decided to stay in Africa to help JJ get settled. So I was like, oh, so is there no more Abigail too?
Maybe Kate Manzi went on vacation. I don't know.
She might make an appearance back on the canvas when she realizes Chad is not himself.
Maybe.
She'll probably... I think Kate's taking over right now, but she would be the one. She would pick up on it right away, just saying, okay, what's going on with my husband?
Because Kate got fired and had to move out of the pub. Chad
offered her
her old room back at the... So, yeah, this is going to be another interesting storyline. That's going to...
Interesting pivot.
Yes. And that's it. Yeah. That was your week of days. So we are going to get through our segments, and while we're getting through our segments, our special guest, Brook Kelly, is going to be brought in and get settled so that we can find out all the tea and all the juices and berries and things of Evan Christian. But now we're going to go into our segments, and we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! Okay, now listen. When you come face to face with someone who nearly killed you, who then confesses that she was about to kill your daughter, and you have no choice but to not let anything go in betwixt you, and you reach over to let her know that you're not going to treat me like that. That's why my 3 Snaps Award goes to Missy Reeves, Jennifer Horton, for almost like slapping the dog piss out of Princess Gina von Umberg. So you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Oh, snap! There we go.
Oh, and slapping the dog piss. That's.
Have you never heard that expression?
If I have, I don't remember it, but it's going into the rotation.
Listen, put it in the dictionary.
I slap the dog piss out of you. Is that a Southern thing?
I think so. There's a lot of Southern things. And now it's time for.
There we go.
There it is. We always get a little worried. Caption that.
All right. This week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Victoria Conifal and Brook Kelly. Nope, that's the wrong picture.
Oh, no.
Right, people. That was the...
Nope, that was the previous one.
And it should be photo 2. It's called photo 2, but it's when Ciara is there it is.
There it is.
Looking boss bitch and holding Evan at gunpoint and manhandling.
Slanging him from left to right.
So this week's caption goes to Rob Galetta on Twitter with his caption, "Sorry Ben, I didn't have a necktie so I had to use a gun."
Ba-da-bum. That's a good one.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. Bing.
And that has been
Caption
That. And now it's time for...
Aww.
I suddenly feel like a cartoon when that comes on.
Well, it was from a cartoon.
See?
Well, there you go.
That's why I feel so animated. All right.
Okay, bouncing off of you, Mike. All moment of the week, of course, it has to go out to my sinners. We have to admit, Rob and Victoria brought it Monday through Wednesday. The scene, Ben, I need you, come back to me. And then Ben wakes up and says, you saved me. So Ben is alive, and we get to have some more sin down the road. And they are my all moment of the week.
And
Aww.
all right, and of course we have our oh shiz moment of the week brought to you by Me World 2, and we were on the same plane. So make sure you you check out the same plane. Yeah, we were thinking the same. So make sure you check that out. It has been retweeted. Now, and he really went into this. These videos are getting more and more like a lot. I love it. So shout out to Me World. So make sure you check out the old shiz moment of the week. And now it's time for some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Just one quick reminder that tomorrow is the last day to get tickets for our Dishin Days Quintennial celebration here in Los Angeles. Join us, plus day stars Billy Flynn, Kate Manzi, Eric Martzoff, Stacey Hayduke, Paul Telfer, Scott
Shillstone.
Wow. Scott Shillstone, Brock Kelly, and Jen Lilly the weekend of March 21st, 22nd, 2 weeks from now. Tomorrow's the last day to buy tickets. The event is 2 weeks from yesterday and today. Events include an evening reception and a Sunday breakfast with us and the cast. And remember, $10 of every ticket sold will be donated to the Los Angeles LGBT Center. Yes. For more info and to buy your tickets, go to SpectrumCelebrityEvents.com.
What always makes me giggle is that you're the one that writes that.
I write it. I just get tongue. I was like, Scott should, and then I can't recover. I start and yeah.
Makes me giggle so much. I love it. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our special guest today is now here live and in living color in our studio. Please help me welcome Mr. Brock Kelly.
Woo!
It's good to see you,
Great
Brock.
to see y'all.
Yeah. Well, we first met Brock at our November meet and greet.
Yes.
Like days before you were supposed to air on Days, and I was nervous because I was like, are we supposed to have Brock here? Because him new, and I don't want to give away anything. But
it was like Monday. He started airing Monday.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like.
It wasn't too. And it was
I feel like
announced.
his picture was on NBC already. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So then we were
good. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was great, like getting the chance to meet you and talk to you and like anticipate.
Meet fans.
Yeah. What was gonna happen?
And we were quiet, you know.
Yeah.
Loose lips sink ships. Is that
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the expression.
We're
yeah.
very tight-lipped.
Yeah.
No secrets let out.
Well, listen. Until this week. Because we have been,
They've been getting out.
Yeah, because we have been anticipating like, who is Evan? Like, what is he all about? What secret is he holding? Because he's obviously a secret squirrel. You couldn't Google him enough because Kate tried to Google him and there was nothing about Evan. But little did we know his real name was Christian Maddox, which, by the way, is a better name than Evan.
Yeah.
I agree. Once I heard that, that's a lot easier to roll off the tongue than Evan Frears.
Yeah.
Because sounds a lot cooler too, Christian Maddox.
Yeah. Because for the longest time you were just Evan Fears for me. Like I dropped the R and I was just like Evan Fears, and there was like Frears, and I was like, who that?
Evan Fears. Okay.
But let's start back to like we realize now
that this is not your first round on Days of Our Lives, is it?
No, it's not. Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
So Days of Our Lives was my second acting job. 15 years ago, I was brought on to be like a love interest for Abigail.
We have a picture of you and your
Ashley
and the blonde highlights.
Look at that hair! Oh my God, what is happening? My hairdresser, he's not the same one. So
that was the style back then.
It was.
Like, all the boys had that hair.
Yeah.
Actually, J. Kenneth Johnson and I had the same hairdresser because we had the same manager. So probably maybe why
you went
with
that.
Yeah, like we have the same hair. Yeah. Gosh, can we take that down?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Memories.
So I was like a skateboarder comic book loving barista at the coffee shop, and it was cool. It was like 2 months, and it was fun.
Yeah.
How much has changed there? Because it was 15 years ago, you said.
Oh my God.
Like how much, like in terms of like schedules and shooting and everything?
So much, so much. It's so much quicker now. The rehearsal times, it's been cut down like 3/4 of the rehearsal time that we had before. And now we just get to shoot once if you're good. If you're not good, sometimes you forget your lines. I did it many times. They'll give you a couple more takes, but they get upset.
Yeah.
Because they remembered you. Is that how you got this role, or did you audition for it?
No, it was completely different casting, and producers as well. Actually, no, I think Albert was back there. Was there back then, and I think Greg Meng was there as well. I got the audition. I saw the breakdown. It was pretty, pretty typical for like your soap opera guy character coming in on the show. They just wanted somebody charismatic. They wanted somebody, to have that look. And what did they say? They said he was very like tenacious when it comes to protecting his family. So there wasn't like a lot given in the breakdown of what they were looking for. And then the sides that they gave me to go in and audition with were they were pretty normal. I was at a park and I was hitting on somebody's wife and she turned me down. That's what the audition sides
Really?
were.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I was a babysitter. So I knew that. They also said that he was a Manny. So that's as far as I knew. And the further I got into the audition process, they called me back a couple times, the more that they would tell me about, what his intentions were, who he was, what was going to happen. And that was kind of how that played out. Yeah.
So when was it told that, so I'm trying to figure out now the timeline of, it's like, oh, by the way, he's going to be, well, did they even, he's more bi.
He plays for both teams, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that aspect of the character
that was talked about in casting.
It was?
We discussed that. Marnie, the casting director, and Albert Alar, the executive producer, both said that this is going to be the first openly bisexual character in daytime, or at least they thought so. Or we all think so.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. It was provocative. It was something like new, and you always want to do something new when it comes to art. You want to create something new, and I mean, obviously, that hasn't been a new storyline throughout history. But
for
daytime,
for
daytime, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
And it was a little scary to take on that responsibility, but I was up for the challenge, and I think it's pushed me to step outside of my comfort zone.
Yeah. So because we always talk about the audition process with people when they come in, and for your screen test, did you have a screen test? It was just like, you got it, and here's some scripts.
Yeah. So they had one callback with Albert, and then they gave me another one with like a different scene that was. I don't know if I can say this because like I don't want to give anything away because but it was just like completely not what I was doing before. So just like complete opposite direction. And it went really well. I've just really connected with that and the previous one too, obviously, because they were calling me back. And that's when they called like 15 minutes after I left, and they're like, we're gonna hire you. So they offered X amount of episodes, and we said, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then entered Evan.
Enter Evan.
Listen, I was excited because, I'm all for them building up the gays on days, because we had Paul, but then they shipped him off to San Francisco. And then, there was still Will and Sonny, but then when the time jump happened, Will was in jail, Sonny was heartbroken and lost his mama, and then put the mammy. I keep saying mammy.
Mammy,
the Manny,
Fierce.
Yeah. And then you came on, and I was like, okay, like, what are we doing? What's going to happen? What was it like for you? Obviously 15 years later, coming back on set and now entering this role. Like, were there first day jitters? Like, what was that first day like for you?
There were first day jitters, but it happened so quickly that I really didn't get to sit in those jitters.
Yeah.
And I was also just really excited. I was just really excited to be on Days of Our Lives. I was really excited to be working with Freddie Smith, who has an Emmy. I was happy to be working with Galen. We have a few mutual friends out there. So yeah, I was just like, I was just really, really excited.
Yeah.
Is there anyone on the show up till Friday's air date that you didn't work with, or someone that on the show that you didn't really have scenes with that you would want to share scenes with or work with that you didn't?
Everybody?
Everybody?
Yeah. Everybody there is such a strong actor or actress that like I would just love to be in a scene and feed off that energy and absorb it.
Yeah. How? Because we feel like we got introduced to Evan, and even though we kind of knew that there was something about him that we didn't know yet until this week. Like for you, how was it for you, going through that, and how much of the storyline did you know about as you were, playing the character?
So I only knew that David was my son.
Okay.
And I'm just also trying to
not
say things that. So I knew David was my son. I also knew what they revealed this past week with Jordan, that I killed her.
Yeah.
I knew that, and that was about it. I didn't know who brought me there, who I was connected to. I didn't know what the outcome is going to be with me coming to be the babysitter.
Yeah.
That was basically it. Yeah, it was pretty like there was basically 2 points that they gave me. I was the father.
The father
and I was
the babysitter.
I had killed Jordan.
Yeah.
That's basically what they gave me.
Because
everything else I learned from the script.
As we like talk to people, like when Stacey Hyduke and Ari Zucker came back as Nicole and Kristen, like in the beginning they didn't know that they were gonna play each other until like I guess they read it more in the script. And this week, as your storyline unfolded, I was starting to wonder, like, I wonder how much he knew, like going into it, like how his storyline was going to unfold, or did he like open the script one day and go, "Oh, okay, okay," and then I mean,
would you prefer to have known everything up front before, or does it give you a bit of a challenge?
It's helpful.
Do you like the challenge?
Yeah. Most of the work I've done, it's it's been like feature films, short films, guest stars, recurring guest stars don't typically give you the the full storyline, but like a guest star, what's gonna happen. Feature, what's gonna happen. Short, what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I've really embraced this new this new version of expression for me. It's like it's really helped me like work on that muscle of creating that moment that would help me relate what this character is going through in that moment, because obviously I've never kidnapped anybody or killed anybody.
Right. At least we hope not.
That we all know about.
That we all know about.
Let me do a quick Google
could have happened
real
in my
quick.
sleep, sleepwalking, sleep killing. You never know. A lot of unsolved mysteries.
Yeah.
In LA. No. So you just try to like create that energy that character is going through with a personal experience, and that's something that's really like that was really exercised for me with some of these big scenes that have happened or that have played out this past week.
Yeah. Now I know Wilson fans are going to be upset when I say this, but I was actually very excited for you and Sonny to happen. Not that I don't like Sonny and Will.
And maybe you've seen on Twitter, the Wilson fans are hardcore, devoted.
Yeah.
And when we say anything
that's not
remotely negative, they come for us.
That's not in favor of Wilson. But I always like how Days handles, Sonny and Will's storylines. It wasn't like forced. It was very like there's this interest and this slow kind of like build up into like maybe something more romantic between you and Sonny.
I don't think they're bad people because of what they did. They were trying to be respectful. Sometimes there's a spark. I mean, his husband is sitting in jail and there's divorce papers pending. So like to their knowledge, it was ending.
Yeah.
And life goes on.
Yeah.
So I don't think there was bad intentions.
No.
It was just two people going through something together. Sonny's trying to heal from his mother's death, who he thinks his father, his husband has killed his mother.
Yeah.
And then me trying to just put my past in the
Mm-hmm.
past
Yeah.
and just start something new and clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where I found the empathy with that relationship was, just two people trying to start fresh and put, the baggage behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you and Freddie kind of get that rapport with each other and connection with each other? Did you guys like rehearse a lot? Did you like hang out outside of studio time? Like, how do you connect with someone?
We always talked about hanging out outside, but it never happened because he
Freddie.
was busy. I know, Freddie. Dude, call me back.
Freddie's got his
Text me back.
podcast. Yeah.
Where are you, bro? I've been texting you. I text you, hey, part 2, hey, part 3, hey, what's going on, man?
Emojis, all
Thought
that.
you liked me. Yeah, emojis. No, we really hit it off like when we first met. He reminded me of guys that I played sports with, that I'd worked with, in like boiler rooms. I've done like finance work in the past, and we just had like that intellectual connection, or like that competitive connection. So it was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there? Because we asked Freddie and Chandler when their characters were introduced as gay characters if they felt like pressure to make sure that what they were doing with the role would come across in a very good way. When you found out that Evan was going to be bi, did you see that as a challenge? Did you feel pressure to make sure that you portray this character in a respectful, positive light? Like, how did you feel about that, like as an actor?
Totally. Because you don't want to disrespect any group of people.
Well, listen, especially in this climate, you can't get away with nothing. No. 10 years ago, you could say whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, I was just watching what is that movie? Tropic Thunder. God, I love that.
They
movie.
could not do a Tropic Thunder Part 2 here. No, you got go Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
I recognize the name, but I'm like, I don't know.
It's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the question. Being that he is openly bisexual, he's not afraid of anything, and he's just a man living his life, and he's just attracted to who he's attracted to. His sexual, that his desires. That isn't what I thought was important about the character. What I thought was, obviously, here we go. Try not to offend anybody. It is important that he is bisexual, but I thought him being comfortable with it and just being able to, just not hold back. I thought that's what was important in that sense. But I thought more of him just being a strong family-oriented guy and wanting to start a family, whether it was with a man or a woman, and tell that story and tell the story of him trying to be a father to his son is what I really, thought was the most important thing. You know, obviously his sexual desire. It's a soap opera, so you gotta, you have to play those too.
Yeah.
But I hope that makes sense.
I've always felt that Days has done a good job, other than the Will coming out storyline. That the gay characters are in storylines that aren't about them being gay. They're just their storylines are that they're people and they go through stuff and
just like anyone else.
And
everyone
they
else.
can be they're like everyone else. They can be bad, they can be good, they can have issues, but the gay thing is just who, like, it's not the storyline.
Like
It doesn't identify them.
Exactly.
It's just who they are.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Who he is having sex with does not identify him.
Exactly. It was I like that this week that we got to see the flashback of when Jordan was actually killed.
Yeah.
And we saw the return of Chriselle Stiles, who originated the role. How was that meeting her and working with her and being like, oh, this is the girl that everyone keeps talking about?
Yeah. Well, it happened so late in my shooting schedule. Because I had shot a whole bunch of stuff and had to create all this other, backstory. When I finally got to, I had a picture of her.
Yeah,
so I knew who she was, or I had, an image. I knew who she was. So there was that. But when you actually meet her, she's such, she's got this big infectious smile. She's so sweet. She's such a strong actress. She is so grounded, so real. And it was real pleasure. It's just I truly enjoyed that day, and I was killing her. It was a lot of fun, and I would love to work with her again.
Yeah, Is it because like doing scenes like that with like having to fake strangle someone or being manhandled by Victoria as you were pulled all throughout the week, like how do they ensure that like you're not doing it too hard but like it looks believable? Like I feel like there's a lot that goes
making it look
that.
real without it being real.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's just the conversation that the two actors have with each other. We also have a stunt coordinator on set that's, giving us the choreography of how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
So it's not just like on a whim, right? So it's safer than it looks.
Yeah.
And just trust, really, and all three of us, different scenes, but all three of us had that trust and we had the conversations and it was fun.
How strong is Victoria, who plays Ciara? Because she
tough as hell.
She literally looked like she was just dragging you along everywhere. And I'm like, this girl is just slinging poor him everywhere.
Yeah, she like, I follow her on Instagram. I see her work out. She's a tough chick.
Yeah.
I've seen her like hang from a punching bag.
Yeah.
Like do sit-ups and punch it. So she's she's really about that life. She's not playing.
Was there ever a moment you're like, oh, okay, whoa, like I'm
pull it back a little bit.
Like hold on.
Sure, like I had like all type of gun burn and my neck was sore. I had a crick in my neck the next day. So yeah, we were going for it.
Yeah,
really.
Because you could tell. I mean, obviously, in that moment, she's supposed to be very passionate about getting Ben out and having you confess. But it was just like how, like, bro, she was.
Oh, she slammed me into the glass door and we broke it.
Oh,
we broke it. Yeah,
oh,
the first
wow.
time. So we had to take a pause.
Yeah.
How many takes did that all?
We did a few that day.
Yeah, okay.
Because it was messy. Like for as choreographed as it was still messy because we were going for it.
Yeah.
So there were probably some that were even crazier that they didn't air. Yeah. We were also shadowboxing before the take. We were like shadowboxing each other. It was fun.
Get yourself pepped up a little bit.
Like getting ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
doing push-ups too. I forgot.
Oh well, in daytime, you have to do a couple. I don't. Do. I would be at Crafty,
having it's my scene.
Yeah, having that last little donut. Like, are we ready? Okay, got it. We can go now.
Gotta get those sugar levels up, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know that all of you have a ton of questions for Brock, and we are going to open the phone line so that you guys can call in. As soon as I remember the number, I've been doing this show for I don't know how long, and I can never remember the number.
424. 354. 8302.
That's why we have you.
It's in the rundown.
Also, is it?
Also. It's at the very top of the rundown.
Thank you, Michael Mattis.
Why did I put that? Why did I start putting that in there? Because we all forget.
Because we all forget. We do have a question in the room in our chat room from Dwight. He said he wanted to know, how did the character Evan come about, and what were your scenes like with Galen, Freddie, and Chandler?
The character came about by the stroke of the writer's pen.
Them being in the writer's room with the big tree, as I like to say.
There's a pretty big writer's room. I had seen it.
Yeah.
And they all looked at me like, what the hell are you doing here? And I was like, I'm just signing my contract. Please don't kill me, guys.
It's like, don't mind me.
Yeah.
Don't pull a Joey on me.
Right. Yeah. So they had a storyline that was going on from trying to figure out who's David's father.
Real father? Yeah.
Yeah, from a while back. And, it came about because they were trying to tie that up. And working with Galen you're just always like on your toes. He's he's constantly changing the lines. He's just like making jokes. He's just keeping it real loose. So I really enjoyed working with Galen. And Freddie and Chandler are just the consummate professionals.
Oh yeah.
They have like 3 or 4 Emmys
each. Yeah.
Both of them. So obviously their work speaks for themselves. But they also keep it light too. For as crazy as things are happening right now in Salem, they made it fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dwight.
Do any of your family members, were they fans of the show before you came on?
Yeah.
So what are the typical? I feel like when you have family members that are familiar with the show, they have a ton of questions for you.
Oh yeah, yeah. So my mom's like, she used to watch it a while ago, and she's mom, so she's so excited I'm on the show.
Yeah.
She had a huge party for all her friends when I went back from Mardi Gras. There was a red carpet there, cameras. It was crazy. My mom's nuts, but I love her. She invited all these people. It was black tie, it was tuxedo. And of course, like people are asking me what's going on with this person, and then you can't say anything. So
yeah, of course,
just make stuff up to throw them off.
Yeah.
Are you good even with your family, like keeping that confidentiality?
Absolutely. My mom has no idea what's
that's fun. That's good. Yeah. That's good. Vista Trista wants to know about your time on Supernatural. You played a young, young Dean, played by Jensen Ackles, who was on Days.
Who's Eric on Days.
Yeah. Did you have any interaction with him?
Jensen?
With Jensen, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jensen and I mean, he's the one that told me how to play Dean. Okay. So I met him in Vancouver. Since then, we've traveled the world, Europe, really, and a lot of America, Canada, doing conventions. So we've spent a lot of time together. I mean, awesome. Not recently, but we have spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
It's the last season of Supernatural, too.
So sad. I know. It's has to come
How
to
many
an end,
years?
Unfortunately, 15.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when they casted or when they wanted somebody that was gonna kill and commit fraud. Of course, they would cast a Winchester.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think someone pointed out how great the casting was for Supernatural and how you all look very similar to each other.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like when I met him, I remember thinking he looked a lot like my dad when he was my dad's age.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, because they look a lot alike.
Yeah. Sarah, you wanted to know, you as Brock, what piece of advice would you give Evan Christian, as we call him now, about anything that went down this week?
Anything that went down this week?
Yeah. Or thus far. If Evan was in front of you and you could say, bro. and I don't use the word bro.
Yeah, bro. He's really put himself in a corner. So
yeah, he has.
What kind of advice do you give? I think what he is doing and what he has been plotting the past 2 weeks is going to set himself up, to succeed. So other than that, I would just, I don't know. He's kind of screwed himself. He killed his baby mama.
I feel like at this point, it's
how do you get past that? Yeah, right.
At this point, he
change your name again.
He would be in front of Evan Christian and just kind of fading back into the bushes like Homer.
Oh, like
Homer
Homer Simpson.
Be like,
you got this, bro. You got this.
Yeah. It's like, good luck.
You're doing great, sweetie. Goodbye.
Hey, J-Lo, are you in the booth? Do we have the Skype up for? Okay. Oh, okay. Did we give out the right number? Okay. Let's give it out one more time. 424-354-8302. 424-354-8302. Because there's a lot of questions in here, and I know y'all aren't shy about calling in because y'all are real quick to call in. Okay, there we are. And it's the right one and everything? Okay.
You mentioned. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So you mentioned before, being on the soap, there's not really a whole lot of time to prep, and then sometimes you don't get a chance to talk with the actors beforehand, and you don't know what's going on with the scripts. Oh.
Okay.
Okay. We'll pause on that.
We'll
pause on it.
Hello, caller. You are on live on AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello.
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 Hi.
Hi, Miss Sarah.
Oh, hey,
hi, Sarah.
How are you?
Hi, Sarah.
I'm Brock.
Good. You're on live with us. And Brock, did you have a question or comment for him?
Was it like your first day on set when you came on today?
First day on set.
First day on set. So it was was really warm and welcoming. Some of the people that I'd worked with previously, 15 years before, they had remembered me, and we caught up a little bit, because 15 years is it's a lot of time to catch up on.
Yeah.
But it was really warm. Everybody was very open and welcoming, so that was nice. I feel like we got all the takes in the amount of time that they wanted us to get them in, so it was successful, at least in my eyes. And it was good. It was overall.
And I just want to say you were really, really good when you did those things with Victoria, and I can tell Evan was so terrifying.
Well, thank you,
when
Sarah.
He put
I had a great scene partner. So
the gun in his head. Black twin when Ben almost about to die.
Yeah, it was an intense scene.
I'm
glad you enjoyed it.
I think we all enjoyed it. It was, oh, sorry, hold on. Thank you, Sarah, for calling in.
Thank you, Sarah, for
we
calling
appreciate
in.
you. It's like the scenes were. We'll take it. The scenes were so intense, and it was just this. Finally, this week we got to really dig in deep
to slow burn,
Evan
so things are starting to unravel.
But Tony was saying earlier,
exciting.
it was just like bam.
Yeah, it was.
There was a slow lead up and bam, right into it.
Yeah,
exactly. It was just kind of like, boom, he's really not Evan. He's
the baby daddy. He's the father.
He's the baby daddy.
Jordan.
He killed him.
He's
and
bisexual.
And it was like, it's like, wait, hold on. Now you say he what now? He done killed Jordan, and what happened? And he done. Oh, okay, got it. Got all my notes here. Thank you. We have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. You're on live. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Mike Riley from New York.
Oh, Mike Riley. How are you?
I'm well. How's everyone?
We're doing good.
Great, thank you.
Well, you're on live now
Good.
with us.
I'm glad to hear it.
What?
Just glad to hear it.
Oh,
I'm glad to hear it.
You have a question or comment?
A couple of things. Brock, I think you're a great addition to the show. I think you're a really natural actor, and I hope that we get to see you for a lot longer.
Thank you, Mike.
But I do have a non-Days sort of question, suggestion. I'm also a huge Supernatural fan, but Marvel's going to be rebooting the X-Men movies, and I'm looking at you and listening to you talk, and you could totally throw your name in for Cyclops, leader of the X-Men, when Marvel does a reboot. I think you really fit the mold, and
Mike,
I would love
like
to see you opposite Madeline Petch from Riverdale as your Jean Grey love interest.
Ooh.
I think you would make a really dynamic Scott Summers and Jean Grey, if you know who these people are.
Yeah, of course. I was a huge X-Men fan back in the day. Do you remember the cartoons that were going on in like the mid-90s?
Oh, yeah. I actually used to watch them.
Oh, my God. I love those things.
But I wanted to be Storm.
Do you want me to sing the theme song? Because I can. I can.
No, Mike Riley. We're okay with how you sound now. We're okay. We're good. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Mike. I like where your head's at, and I'm with you. Yeah, I'd love to play Cyclops. My preference would be Gambit, because I'm from New Orleans, but that may be too on the nose. So Cyclops would be like 1B. That would be choice 1B.
I can see that. Yeah. Mike Riley's always great at casting folks. I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, that's all I really want to say. But again, I hope we do get to see you on the show for quite some time.
I appreciate that.
That's it, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Bye.
Mike
Thanks,
Riley.
Mike Riley.
Mike Riley's one of our...
Nice guy.
Yeah, we'll take it. He's one of our longtime fans.
So.
Yeah, and great ideas.
Outside the box.
Yeah, I like it. Hello, caller. You're on live with AfterBuzz TV's Dishin Days. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello.
Oh, it's Me World.
It's Me World. Oh, actually, we found out last week that we referred to him as Me World forever. But he was like, he was like, my name is actually Christian too, and I was like,
oh,
look at that parallel.
Hello, fellow Christian.
Look at that.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome? As the crazy Christian Chocolate, the guy who killed Jordan.
Yep.
Do you have a question or comment for Brock, Christian, Me World?
Yes, actually. Well, I usually go by Chris, but that's fine. Well, my question for Brock is, are we going to see? I've noticed something about Christian like his confrontation with Jordan, how his personality was completely different from Evan. Is his personality as Christian compared to his personality as Evan completely different? And how is that different from your personality?
Oh,
fantastic question. A lot of layers there.
Yeah,
I like that.
Those are layers.
Kind of like your name,
World. Me World, Christian. There's layers to everything.
Layers. I see you.
I only know the layers of cake.
Cake, nice.
Yeah.
Wow, great question. So, I think we are just scratching the surface with Evan and his personality traits. Yes, he is putting on a facade, or has been putting on a facade with Evan to, I don't want to say like cover, because I don't think his intentions are bad. I think he has good intentions. I think he's a good intentioned person, but he has a very nasty history because of his environment. And I don't want to say any more other than that, but like he is trying his best to restart, and that's what Evan is. Christian is nasty and dangerous, and we haven't seen anything from Christian yet.
Yeah. Well, see, I felt like Christian and Jordan were almost kindred spirits, because Jordan had many aliases coming onto the camera. So I was like, okay, I can see how they could, be into each other. Yeah. It's like, like moth to a flame, or, two magnets, or like a circle that just keeps
all those things. That's what they are.
Yeah, agreed.
One big ball of
crazy speaking
energy.
Speaking of both Christian and Jordan, actually the pairing of Christian and Jordan is really reminiscent to Bachelor in Paradise. Last summer.
I'm not following because I don't watch the show, but please let me know what is the relation.
Christian and Jordan on Bachelor in Paradise, they're two guys, and they were going at it over a woman.
Okay.
They were fighting over a woman.
So is David the woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I'm confused.
I
get it. David's a woman. Jordan and I are the two men. Or no, I don't.
Yeah, there were two men. There were two men fighting over a girl. Okay. And both of their names were Christian and Jordan. And it was all over the news at the time. But it was on Bachelor in Paradise. It was really funny.
So yeah, the dynamic was just crazy people fighting over somebody.
That's what I got from it. Because I was gonna have to take a minute and just like take that home and like let it sit for a second.
Write an essay.
Write an essay about it. Yeah, do a PowerPoint presentation. Meanwhile, thank you so much for. I used to love those things. Thank you so much, MeWorld, for calling in, and we've retweeted your old shiz moment of the week. Thank you for that, and we'll talk to you next week.
Welcome. All right, later.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, bye.
Jen, MeWorld.
Yes, all of
those
all of
layers.
The above.
More into that.
More in depth.
Other than the murder.
I have ideas.
Like,
yeah,
it's
I would keep it myself.
Just be like, I don't know.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. Keep your job. Yeah, keep your job. Don't reveal anything that you are not supposed to. Yeah. Now that, because we know that Days films like 6 months in advance, and so you've been sitting on this for so long. How do you feel now that everything has finally rolled out, and how do you feel about what you gave to the character this week?
Yeah. So, six months in advance is crazy. And they're, telling you not to post anything, not to say anything. So I'm obedient, and I didn't feel like I was on TV. I just felt like I was, doing some weird theater or something like that. Some camera guys were watching with a boom guy. So, and everybody's pretty like in and out of there. So you don't really sit and talk about, what you just did and too much. Maybe you do the next day if you're picking up and just trying to keep that momentum going from the previous day. So now that it's all starting to come out, I'm like, I'm feeling this great delayed gratification. Yeah. And like I'm actually, on a show that's popular and has, a bunch of great fans that are super engaged.
Yeah.
I I feel like I was a pretty, integral part to the storyline this week, and I think I did a solid job. As an artist, you always want to, do better. You say, hey, I could have done this differently, but what's the point of doing that when it's already finished and it's already out there? So I'm proud of what we accomplished and what we created. But I'm really also looking forward to what's also coming out and what's in the future.
Yeah, I think we all can say that your work this week was amazing. Yeah. Like it was some really, really great stuff.
And it just makes us want more. Like we want to know more. Like we want more of that. Yeah.
Because as fans, it's like finally, we knew this guy had more stuff, but it's like
it was tough. I mean, the circumstances were difficult. I'm consoling Sonny, whose mom was just killed by her husband or his husband. So like, how do you tiptoe around that and create a love story? It's like the circumstances are a little icky, right? Like it's not perfect. It's not the perfect setup. But I mean, what love story is? You look at all the great love stories out there, like Titanic and The Notebook, Brokeback Mountain. Like all these dynamics, they're not perfect. So that's what makes the love story is like, the struggle.
Titanic. She could have let him sit on that. Right?
There was room for him.
There was a whole lot of room for him. All she had to do was move over.
And your character has developed tremendously within the past week and going forward. So you mentioned earlier that you can have like a creative spin when you get these scripts. I know the writers have a vision of like, this is how we want the character to be portrayed. Do you guys have anything on set beforehand where you could run lines where it's like, okay, you are going the right direction? Or do they kind of just say, here are your scripts, deliver the lines?
No, there's a rehearsal. So
you do get rehearsals. Okay.
Yeah, you get one rehearsal and you talk to the director and whoever it is that day, and you're with the other actors or actor in the scene. And there's a little talking, it's pretty black and white what they want you to do, and we, at least in my storyline, we stuck very closely to what was written. Other than with Galen, he likes to cut entire scenes out and just remake lines. So I don't know how he got away with that. I tried to do that a few times after watching him, and they were just like, the word is this, the period is there, the exclamation is there. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So let me just get back to the script and I think it's written really well. So Galen did it, for his own reasons. It's not like he was trying to undermine what they did. But it's very clever writing, so I understand why they stick to it, because it's all timing. So
was there a moment where you felt settled in the character? Like I feel like when you go into it, it's very like do I have it right? Is this what you guys envisioned? But
so I don't like. I would like to think there were a few episodes that we shot that have aired so far that I was settled, and then like you get some new information and totally just mind you, and you're just like, okay, where's this going? And then you become unsettled. But I think that's great, because it's like you're feeling things and you're alive. Yeah. So settled, in the sense of just being comfortable and grounded. I feel like it was pretty much there from the beginning, the grounded aspect of it. But there were some times when you think you got it figured out, and then all of a sudden they just add a little tool, or like even same day change. You're just like, okay, well, let's try and do this and make it real.
It's like all of a sudden it's like, oh hey, by the way, he's this. Okay, gotta go. Let's shoot and roll. Daquan in our chat wanted to know what was your favorite scene that you filmed thus far, and what has in a scene that's been challenging. I feel like Victoria slinging you around had to be a challenging one.
Well, so favorite, I'll start with that one. The favorite one was holding Sonny at gunpoint and having Will and Ciara bust in. That was probably just because we got to work, all together, and it was, everybody was like really into it that day. It just, the energy was great. So that was my favorite one. The most challenging one was, I'm not sure, I think it aired, was so far to date, because the challenge with Victoria is just meeting her intensity. So I feel like she really brings it, and that kind of feeds you.
Yeah.
So I think just maybe the challenge was probably with Galen, because he's just so like loose, and you're trying to make everything connect.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's great. So that was probably the most challenging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Daquan.
Yes, thank you, Daquan. Before we run out of time and they shoo us out of here.
I saw the little thing moving around.
Yeah. That's usually a sign of like, y'all have to wrap things up.
Would they?
Up there, yeah. So at this time, we're going to show what's going to happen next week on Days of Our Lives. So if you don't want to know, close your eyes.
Ooh.
But we're going to show it. What's coming up right now.
We switched those babies. Sarah's never gonna find her. Her baby died that night. Rachel had a birthmark on her neck.
I didn't even notice that little birthmark.
What's that on her neck?
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Murder, She Wrote Nicole over there. Like,
Yeah. Now listen, like we already had a week of all kinds of balls dropping, no pun intended. And now it looks like next week is going to be another.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ball
Of course,
drop.
there's a
I am
birthmark.
excited for
Of
this
course.
It's not a blood test; it's a birthmark.
It's a birthmark.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that finally a creative way. Then like then like a we thought the bone marrow thing was going to be the giveaway, but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess everyone brace yourself, because if you thought this week was, very telling, it looks like next week there's going to be a whole lot more to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't miss it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's our time. So
it was fun.
Because I feel like I want to know more, but hopefully we can get you in again.
Yeah, maybe down the road.
Yeah, and we can talk more stuff.
Yeah. It's tough being restricted.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's okay.
Trust me, because we're
a little mystery going on.
Yeah.
Leave the audience wanting more.
Yeah, that's how we are. But if we haven't reiterated this enough, this week has been amazing, and you have done amazing work, and you are such a it's a great addition to the show. As
Thank you so much,
Evan Christian Maddox.
So I'm just happy to be here, there, everywhere.
Listen,
it's been such a pleasure working with all those people on the set. And, I love it.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, we love it too. We like it, we love it, and we want more of it, as I always say. Well, that has been our show. Before we head out, though, Michael Mattis.
Yeah.
Let the kind folks know where they can find all of your ball droppings. I tried to make that segue somehow.
That was terrible. But anyway, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter, ML Mattis.
And
Chelsea?
You can find me on Instagram at Chelsea Overocker and on Twitter at Chelsea Overocker.
And Brock, where can they find you?
Instagram at Brock V. Kelly, and Twitter, which I'm not very active on, but I'm trying to get better. I am Brock Kelly.
And we're also very excited that in a couple weeks you're going to be hanging out with us for our quintennial.
Yep.
So
come out.
If you guys want to meet him in the flesh, and I would say hug him, but right now we're dealing with Corona.
We don't hug. We don't shake hands.
I'm gonna be wearing a mask. Don't worry.
We all are.
Full body.
We're gonna do that. Yeah. So, but we're glad to have you. It's gonna be a good weekend. If you guys want to find all of us, we are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. And if you want to find little old chocolate me, you can find me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony or my website, loungingwithtony.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Brock, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week for another full dish of your favorite soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.